that are temporal, that we can see, or we can invest in things in heaven that are permanent. And we have a choice of how we're going to invest our time, our money, and our energy. So if our soul is one of the only things that's going to have real significance and value, then we need to spend most of our time down here on earth investing into our character. Like I say, we've been characters before, but we've never really had good godly character. And our character, this is the whole thing that we're talking about. This is the whole platform of our whole ministry. Everything we do is about the inner life. It's about building character. We've been characters. We've been a detriment to the kingdom of God. We've not been creatures of righteousness, and our character is what's got us in trouble. And the devil has used that, but what we want to do now is we want to develop what we call proven character that has been tested and tried, and it will have eternal weight of value. So even though our physical bodies are dying, we can't take our money with us, we can't take our clothes and our toys and all that with us, but we can take our character with us. So if you want to get rich towards heaven, then we need to learn how to invest into our souls. So tonight, I'm going to talk a little bit more about investing into the heavenlies. We'll talk about the hidden person of the heart. Turn with me to 1 Peter 3, 1 through 4. Everybody with me tonight? Now Peter here, 1 Peter 3, 1 through 4. Peter's talking about a lot of things here about the created order and things. He's primarily talking to women. But tonight, as we go through these things, I want you to think not in terms of this teaching being for women, because I believe he's talking to women, but I believe there's so much that we can all get in this that is not gender related. So when I read this tonight, I want you to think in terms of everybody. It talks about godly living, we're talking about character. He said, in the same way, you wives, be submissive. The word means to be subordinate. Doesn't mean you're inferior to men. It just means that you have a different position by God, a different rank. The word subordinate yourself is a military term that simply means to rank under. In the military, you have different positions. You're all human beings. You're all created equal, but you have a different right, or not a right, but a different responsibility. And everybody, for the military to work correctly, everybody has to understand the rank, and everybody needs to fall in line. It says, wives, your position is to be subordinate or subservient to your husband, to rank under him, so that even if any of them are disobedient to the word, they may be won without a word by the behavior or the conduct of their wives as they observe or pay attention to your chaste. That means your mere moral purity, your respectful behavior. We're talking about as they recognize the inward qualities, your character. How do you know we can win people without a word? We've got a real bad habit of trying to change and control people, don't we? So many times a wife, when they have a husband that's an unbeliever, they get saved, they get excited, and first thing they want to do is they want to get their husband converted and changed. And it's their idea, but it's not his idea. And they want to control him and dictate him in a good way. They want him to become a Christian, and he's not into it. He's not interested in that. And so he's saying right here, he's saying that this tells wives a different approach, something that might work better than just preaching. And he's telling them, don't focus on trying to change them by preaching at it or trying to control them or talk to them. Let them be won by your attitude, your inner disposition. Let them be won by your behavior. The word behavior there refers to godly conduct or piety or your Christ-like behavior. Our conduct is our behavior. It's how we live our life. It's our choice. It's the freedom of how we're going to live. I can walk in the ways of the Lord, or I can walk in the ways of the world. But either way, my walk is my habit. It's how I choose to live my life. So Peter's saying right here, don't try to change your husbands by preaching at them. Don't just talk to them, but let it be your walk. Let it be your behavior. Let it be your piety, your moral goodness. Let it be your chaste behavior, your attitude of how you live your life. Then he goes on in verse 3. He says, your adornment must not be merely external. A better translation says, let not your adornment be merely or only or just external, braiding of the hair, wearing of gold and jewelry, putting on dresses, but let it be the hidden person of the heart, or let it be your character. Which has an imperishable quality of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is precious in the sight of God. Peter is addressing an ancient culture back then where women were ate up with vanity. They were very conceited. There was a lot of competition among women. And Peter is addressing a culture there where women spent so much time, so much money in front of a mirror, competing with each other. These women would actually spend hours working on their hair. The actual word there, the braiding of the hair actually refers to the inordinate, ridiculous, or extravagant, elaborate braiding or knotting or plaiting of the hair. It's the toiling of the hair. They were always toiling. They were always messing with their hair. Am I pretty enough? They would spend hours curling their hair, hundreds of curls in their hair, all kinds of different styles, and they would they wanted their hair perfect. They would spend hours in front of the mirror with makeup. They would put on all kinds of jewelry, not just a few finger rings or earrings and things, but they wore costume jewelry that made Mr. T look like a starter kit. And then they would put on clothes. They sometimes would be known to go home and go into the closet and change completely their wardrobe 2 or 3 times a day. And Peter said, look, you ladies, man, you're spending so much time on the physical attributes at the expense of developing your character. So he says, let not your adornment, the word adornment here means that which is impressive, that which draws attention to yourself, that which flatters, that which people recognize or take notice of you or appreciate you. How many would much rather be noticed by somebody for your moral purity and your goodness and your inner qualities versus your outer qualities? I mean, you have so many people, oh man, that girl's gorgeous, man. Oh man, did you see her body? She has a knockout figure, and oh my Lord, and men are always recognizing them for their physical bodies. And there's nothing wrong if you're beautiful and you have a nice body, there's nothing wrong, but wouldn't it be much more impressive when people go out and they talk about you, say, man, she's not only a beautiful person on the outside, she takes good care of her body, she dresses nice, she wears jewelry, she does nice, there's nothing wrong with that. But more importantly, man, that girl is a godly woman. That girl has a radiance, that girl has a character that produces certain character qualities that are just absolutely imperishable. So Peter here is not forbidding that people disregard the external fixing your hair and wearing jewelry and makeup and different things. What he's saying is, don't get so caught up. And the word here is, don't let not your adornment be merely or just simply external. Let it be external, but let it be more important. Let your focus, let what people notice and recognize you be more about the inner qualities, because the inner qualities are imperishable. The word imperishable is the word incorruptible. It refers to the character, our character that is undecaying, undying, and unfading charm. It's incapable of decay. It's incapable of suffering the effects of time and environment, the everyday wear and tear on our life, but it has an unfading character quality. It's a character quality that produces a beauty here, but it'll also be a beauty that will benefit you in heaven. It has an imperishable nature and a quality to it. I dated somebody several years ago, and man, they were really beautiful. She was a beautiful person, very impressive. I couldn't understand why she was even dating a guy like me, you know. And when I would go out with her and take her places, man, she would walk into a room, and the whole room people would just be impressed. The whole room would stop and just look at her. I actually started thinking it was really funny. I said, wow, that's amazing. She was a very beautiful person on the outside, spent a lot of time focused on the external things, but as I got to know her after a while, I began to realize that there was no inner life. She was very beautiful externally. Her adornment, what attracted people to her, what people noticed about her, is they recognized her body, her figure, and how she looked, and how she handled it. She was quite impressive. And she would stop the room. But as I got to know her, more and more, I realized that she really looked good on the outside, but there wasn't nothing going on the inside. There was not any real character. She had an external adornment about her, but there was nothing going on that was inward, and she became less precious in my sight. And actually, I became disinterested in her, and more. How many know there's a lot of people out there today that are beautiful on the outside, but there's nobody home or nothing going on the inside, and it makes them flat out ugly. But there's also people out there that aren't very impressive on the outside. They're not all that beautiful to look at, but the more you get to know them, their character qualities, the character qualities of a gentle and a quiet spirit, the imperishable qualities that they have developed by working hard, those inner beauties begin to stand out and make that person very impressive in our sight, but even more precious in the sight of God. And so God says that God considers the inward qualities more impressive than the outer qualities. And it would be nice to be good looking and have an adornment on the external, but more importantly, it's better to focus on the internal qualities, isn't it? I'm a pastor, so I've had the opportunity of marrying quite a few people. I haven't done it that much in the last few years. But I was reading my buddy Rick Rayner's study, and he was talking about how he does marriage, and I started thinking, wow, you brought out a really good point about marriage. He says, you know, I marry these couples, and the bride walks down the aisle, and the groom's standing next to him, and man, they see this most beautiful, perfect woman. They probably spent hours primping. She probably was in the gym working every little ounce of body fat off all week long. Of course, she got her nails done, she got her hair done. Externally, she wanted to be the most beautiful, magnificent person for the wedding day. And so she comes up, and everybody's gawking at the external beauty, and the husband's gawking at it. But how do you know from the wedding day, the most perfect, beautiful thing, from there on, is probably going to get progressively decayed. It's going to fade away. Are you with me? So initially, she probably captured this guy a lot, and he was a a good godly man, he's not going to look at just the external things, he's going to look at the internal thing. But as that marriage progresses and changes, there's going to come a time where her physical body, over time, is going to take a beating. Things are going to sag. The wrinkles are going to happen. She's not going to be quite as impressive as she used to. And that's just part of it. As our natural man decays, our outer man decays, our inner man is producing. So this is good news. But it's saying right there, and this is what the pastor needs to tell them, look, honey, you look so beautiful today, you look so lovely, and you're amazing. But there's going to come a time down the road, where the strategy of how you captured your man is going to have to change, and you're not going to be able to capture and keep him interested in you by your physical beauty. It's going to have to be a shift where he begins to be more attracted to you by what's going on the inside, not the outside. If not, he's going to go look for somebody else. And so Peter is talking about this very, very thing, is that one day there's going to be a wedding in heaven, isn't there? Revelations 19:7-9 says, let us rejoice and be glad and give glory to him, for the marriage of the Lamb has come, and his bride has made herself ready. It was given to her to clothe herself in fine linen, bright and clean, for the fine linen is the righteous acts of the saints. And then he said to me, write, and blessed are those who are invited to the marriage supper of the Lamb. So part of the big picture, what's really going on, and you've heard me talk about this, God is trying to build character in our lives because he's trying to get us ready to make us worthy bride for Jesus Christ. And we're supposed to be the pure, spotless bride. So there's going to be a wedding one day, and our external gifts, our external beauty, the things that we spend so much time focusing, those aren't going to make a bit of difference. What's going to matter on that wedding day is the level of character. That level of character that we're developing now is going to be unfading. It's not going to diminish. It's not going to decay. It's going to be incorruptible. That's what we're going to be able to present to him that will live on and have an eternal vestment for us in heaven. So though our outer man is decaying, our inner man, the good news is that as our physical bodies break down like this woman's, that we're like in a medic too, is that we too are decaying, and we're getting prepared and ready and made ready for our wedding that's going to be in heaven, and we need to focus on our character. Now the word adornment is an interesting word. It's called cosmos. God, the word is mentioned 187 times, I think just in the New Testament. We know God created the heavens and the earth, didn't he? The heavens, or the cosmos. Cosmos is everything that's going on, not only in the world, but all there. When the word cosmos means to order something, or something that is set in a certain arrangement. So when God created the heavens and the earth, he named stars. He spoke and created the heavens or the cosmos, but he ordered it. So look, we'll put this galaxy over here. We'll put this galaxy over here. We'll do the Milky Way here. He ordered a certain order and arrangement to the cosmos. This word is actually where we get the word cosmetic. Cosmos, cosmetics. So in essence, when a woman applies cosmetics to her face, what she's really doing, she's arranging things to bring a certain order that will enhance her external appearance. So what this verse basically tells us is that there's two types of adornment. There's an external adornment and there's an internal adornment, and we can arrange ourselves physically on the outside, or we can begin to focus primarily on arranging ourselves on the inside. One of the problems today is that we have a world that's full of vanity, don't we? People are concerned and they're obsessed and compulsed, with an inordinate desire for physical beauty. And I go to the gym all the time, and it's amazing, man. I'll see people go through looking in the mirror, man, and doing that, and looking at this, and I mean, it's actually quite comical to see some of the vanity that goes on. They spend so much time in the gym. If everything's not perfect, they'll get breast implants, or they'll have calf implants, or go on to steroids, and they'll spend tons of money and all kinds of things on their physical body, working hard at the gym, and then all of a sudden one day they have a heart attack and die, and they can't take any of that with them. That beautiful physical body is going to go back to the dust, isn't it? What Peter is saying right here is that we have a choice. Or we can let our adornment be merely external. We can't take a witness, or we can start shifting our focus and start focusing on the unfading qualities of a gentle and quiet spirit that will go on and live with us in eternity. Second, 1 Corinthians 10:23. Paul says all things are lawful, but not all things are profitable. All things are lawful, but not all things are edifying. Listen to what the Amplified says. All things are legitimate, they're permissible. We are free as Christians, we're free to basically do whatever we want to do. I can live my life any way I want, my behavior, my attitude. I have control over my destiny. I dictate what I do with my time. All things are permissible, I can do anything I want, but he says not all things are profitable, in the sense that all things are not expedient, profitable, or wholesome. All things are legitimate, but not all things for me, he says, are constructive to the character and the edifying or the building up of the spiritual life. So Paul says, I'm free to be on Facebook, I'm free to go fishing, I'm free to take naps, I can spend my time basically, there's nothing wrong with taking a nap, there's nothing wrong with being at the gym, all those things are good, but there's a better use of time, and Paul's talking about his spiritual life, about his character. He says, I have a choice. All things are profitable, but I choose to do things that benefit or build up the progress of my spiritual life, things of my character. So again, Matthew 6:19 through 20. Jesus says, do not store up for yourselves treasures here on earth, where rust destroy, where thieves break in and steal. Don't invest in things that you can't take with you. But store up or invest in treasures, or unfailing treasures, that will go with you into heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroy, where the economy or inflation doesn't eat into. Where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Our treasure is our time, our money, our energy, and our resources. I mean, you know the best way to find out where your heart is to look at where you spend your money and your time, isn't it? Follow the money. So let me ask you tonight. One of these days we're going to stand before the judgment seat of Christ, and we're going to be evaluated based on how well we developed our character. Then we're going to be presented at the marriage feast of the Lamb for a wedding day. When God presents us, what kind of character are you going to have? While down here we've got a choice on how we invest. We can let our adornment be merely external, or we can start working on the hidden qualities of the heart. The hidden qualities are qualities that will be unfading and will last with us in heaven. I don't know about you, but I want to be precious in God's sight. How many want to be precious in God's sight? I know when I walk up that aisle and Jesus is there waiting on me, I know He's waiting on all you, but when He looks at me, I want Him to say, man, that is one impressive, that is one precious inner man that spent his life preparing himself. He worked hard, diligently, because he wanted to present himself to me the best he could be. Well, that day's going to happen. So if that day were today, how would you present yourself before the Lord? Amen? Amen. All right, next week, Brother Lance will be bringing the word actually for 2 more weeks. And then we'll be moving on and talking about some different things. Amen?
Amen.
Lord, we love you. We appreciate you. Open our eyes to see the big picture, Lord, and the opportunities we have to invest in things of eternal value. We appreciate you in Jesus' name.